Hello everyone, this is Steve at Green Fuel H2O. Today we are going to set aside the nickel cell for this video, and what I want to do in this video is compare the difference between a prepared stainless steel plate and a non-prepared plate. What I mean by prepared is you've heard of the technique where you rough up the plate to generate more surface area. Well, my preparation of the plate is a sandblasting it. I sandblast my plates with the 40 grit Garnet bead, and that's what a sandblasted plate looks like. Also, on my plate, where my holes are, I'll seal these holes so that there's no current leakage through those holes. And what I wanted to do in this video is compare the difference between a prepared plate and a non-prepared plate. So in the cell on the left, I have a non-prepared plate, which looks just like that. Just smooth and shiny, just like I got it from the cutter. So you can still see some of the numbers on there. That cell will have this plate in it. The other cell will have a plate like this. Same plate, but it's prepared. And that's the right-hand cell here. Will have the prepared plate in it. Both of these cells are 7-plate cells. They have an 1/8 inch gap. I'm powering them with my Astron power supply over here, my VS70M. It has a variable voltage that I can change, so I can create whatever voltage between gaps that I want. I have the gas running through a bubbler. The bubbler is basically atomizing at the bottom here. It's being separated through a fine screen, and it goes up through some bronze wool, so it cools down the gas as it goes through. So my gas output is going to be a nice clean gas, even temperature with no steam in it. I have a HHO measuring device. It has a 1 liter bottle in it, and we'll measure the gas through that bottle. As it raises to the top, we'll capture 1 liter of gas and take a measurement from that. What I want to do in comparison is I think the only good way to compare them is to go compare them by watts. So I'll set them at a given wattage. I think it's going to be about 200 watts for each cell, because this cell here draws more current because it has more surface area in it than this cell. So that's how we're going to do it by wattage. And I'm going to set up the first test, and we're going to go from there. Also, I'm going to test these both. They're running the same electrolyte, so they're both hooked up to the same tank here. And we're going to test them at the same temperature, so the test is fair. I'm going to go ahead and set up the first test. First test we're going to do is we're going to test the non-prepared cell. Be right back. Okay, we have 14, let's call it 14.2 amps, 12.41 volts. That's about, let's figure that out here. 12.41 times 14.2, 176 watts. Set up and run the test now. The temperature, 116 degrees. Okay, I've got my stopwatch. There's the gas. And let's run the test. Start it right now. on 25 seconds. $52 seconds. And yeah, 1 minute 4 seconds, 0.15. We'll record that. Let me set up for the next test. And just so you can see here, this cell is disconnected right here. We're only running off of this cell on this side. There's my amps again. My volts. Let me set up for the next test. Okay, now I have the right cell here hooked up, the prepared plate cell, and what I'm going to do is use my power supply to dial in my volts so that I get a 176 watts of power running to the cell, and then we're going to take a test. Okay, amps are, we'll say 15, 11.72, 175.95 watts. Let's run the test. Stopwatch at 0 and start the test now. It's 20 seconds. $35 seconds. $45 seconds. $58.9. Look at my bottle here. I have a line. And the bottom of the bottle meets the line. That's 1,000 milliliters. Okay, I'll be back with some MMWs. Okay, so here we go. We've got a 5.3 MMW on the non-prepared plate, and right here we have a 5.79 MMW on the prepared plate. Take a look at the voltages. Look how much lower. That's 0.7 of a volt lower. Voltage per plate gap lower. That's because of the increased surface area on those plates, created from sandblasting the plates. This isn't the first test I've done. I've done several tests. I've had a difference more than this, but it's almost a full MMW more. This is one of the lower end tests. I've run several of these tests, and it's always the same. Definitely an increase in efficiency with a prepared plate versus a non-prepared stainless steel plate. This concludes this video. Thanks for watching, and leave me some comments.